we started having so many of those people come in with these sort of like sitting related overuse injuries. When you do an evaluation with any client, you say, okay, what's your sleep like? What's your eating like? What's your habits like? What we realize is that in this fitness world, we created this culture where we told everybody like, okay, great. Like in order to be healthy, check your healthy box. You go to the gym for 1 hour and then you're like done then. And I think that was one of the worst things we did in the health and fitness business was tell people that you check your box of health by going to this 1 hour workout class and that then you're fine. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Like human beings need to be in constant movement, and that you can, there's actually research to show that if you work out for an hour a day and then sit for 12 hours, you effectively cancel out the adaptation to that workout, the positive adaptation. So that's bad. We were again seeing all these people who were like, well, I exercise, but I don't understand. I tore my Achilles. And we're like, well, that's great. You exercise, but for 12 hours of the day, you're sitting with all your joints at 90-degree angles, and that's going to have a cost and an impact. So that led us down this path of researching, what it means to be sedentary, and sedentary, there's a whole field of like sedentary biology. It's not good when you start to look at the data and research about sitting all the time. Not only is it responsible for a lot of orthopedic and musculoskeletal injuries and pains and nagging injuries. It's really bad for our metabolic health. Again, human beings need to be moving. And, I'm going to contrast that with the latest trend in fitness, which I think is an awesome one. And that is that people are lifting weights. That is awesome. I think it's a great trend. But because we seem I don't know if it's just human beings to be like all or nothing. So now everyone's like, just weightlifting, which is fine too, except for, the research shows that the people who live the longest and live the healthiest are people who it's their total daily movement that really matters. So yes, you need to strength train. Yes, you need to condition, but you also need to be moving throughout your day. And an important distinction, because, people like after we wrote that book, like Kelly and I would be sitting in an airport and people would see us and be like, wait, you guys are sitting, like almost like busting us for sitting, like I'm sitting right now during this podcast. We are not anti-sitting. Like sitting is awesome. But what is bad is accumulating hours and hours and hours every day of sitting, and especially hours in a row, which is what office workers almost do. You plop down in your chair, you sit there, you don't move from 9 until 1 when you go take lunch. And so, what we really recommended in that book is to create what we call a movement-rich environment in your workplace, in your home. So if you took a little hidden camera and followed me throughout my workday, like for a 10-hour workday, you would see that I sit for part of my day because there's certain things like podcasting I prefer to do while I'm sitting. After this, I'll do some computer work where at my standing desk. I will sit on the floor for part of the day. I actually have a call in a few hours that is just a phone call. So I'm going to put in my headphones and I'm going to walk around my neighborhood while I'm taking that call. So what we've really tried to say is like, we need more movement. Like my whole personal mission in life is just to help people move more. And, it's really hard to move a lot when you're just sitting all the time. Man, people could make a huge difference in their health and how they feel. And then I also, if I haven't gone on too long, want to make a point about this going out thing. We had a guy on our podcast named Jared Hanley, and he runs a company called Nature Quant, where they quantify how much time people go out in nature. And they have an app, which for your listeners is free, called Nature Dose. I don't know if it works in Scotland, whether it's gone international, but in the US, they've mapped the entire United States. And if you put the app on your phone, it's free. It can tell you how much time you've spent indoors versus outdoors. And the data is really frightening. Like Americans are spending like 20 minutes a week outside, which like when you hear that, you're like, what? Like, how is that possible? Like that is a frightening statistic, right? And that's, by the way, like year round. That's not just because it's like cold in the winter or something. The other thing we talk about a lot is, man, you got to go outside. Like human beings are meant to move a lot. and we're meant to go outside even in inclement weather. Like, we'll be fine if we go outside when it's snowing or whatever. But we do need to go outside. There's lots of amazing research to show that in communities, for example, well-designed communities where people have access to trails and parks and access to nature, all of their health markers go up. I mean, people are less obese, they're less metabolically sick, they live longer, they feel happy, their mental health is better. There's certainly like something to nature. And in fact, we had another guy on our podcast whose whole job is at Texas A&M is to research the positive effects of nature. And they actually now go around to doctors' offices and conferences, and they teach doctors how to like literally prescribe going outside for people as a thing, like not a joke, like literally, like you could go to your doctor and they could say like, what you're missing here is going outside and you need to do that.